Here is some general information about using the activity template in Word for your resume. So for everything that you see on the page, you're going to highlight it and replace that text. So you can highlight the words first name and type your first name. Highlight middle name and type your middle name. Highlight last name and type your last name. Now, if in the beginning, it's faster and easier to leave the font the way it is. You can change it later. So remember, you don't leave anything on the page that was there when you got there. If there's something you don't need, you get rid of it completely. For example, once you've put your mailing address and this part, and your phone number. If you don't want to use an email or you don't have an email address, you're just going to get rid of that. Okay? So it's best if you put an email down because that's just another way to contact you. Now, in the sections that follow, and I'll show you multiple pages here, you've got work, extracurricular activities like sports, drama, music, clubs. You've got community service experience, leadership experience, a unique section like special programs like CV Tech. You've got any awards or honors, and then any other experiences. It's best to make a list on a piece of paper first, or even just on a blank Word document of the things that fall into these categories before you try to start putting them in this document, because it gets kind of complicated. Another thing to know about this Word document is that everything is in little tables. That keeps everything all lined up and nice, but sometimes it's hard to see them. You can see them right now, the little dotted lines, but if you want to, you can click the little, what do I call this here, the crosshairs, and when the menu pops up, choose all borders. That'll make the boxes nice and dark so you can see them, and then you can always hide them later by choosing no border. So while you're working on it, if you keep the boxes there, it'll make it a lot easier. For example, if you see in this space right here, there's a table there and a table there, but no table in between. And without the borders, you're going to have trouble moving, like the spaces will be wrong and whatever. Now, another thing to remember is if you don't need a whole section, you're just going to get rid of the whole section. Okay? So if I don't have any work experience at all, paid or unpaid, I'm going to get rid of that whole section. Within a section, whatever you don't need, you can get rid of. So if I don't need this, I can just get rid of the whole thing. I can either use the delete key or I can delete table. Now, within each section, you want to follow what's given to you as a prompt: employer, position that you held, the location, and just the city is fine, and then month and year that you begin and month and year that you end that job. The most recent stuff goes first and works backward through time. So since I did this and I'm still doing it, it comes at the top, and then this, even though it ended just recently, is second. Over here in these sections, these are just suggested things. You don't have to put all of these things, but if you do, you need to follow the rules of the verbs. So if it's a job or an activity that you are still doing, your verbs are in present tense. And everything exists as if there were an imaginary I in front of it. So if you say, I work all aspects of apple harvest and packing, you can just get rid of the I. I interact with customers, you just get rid of the I. If it's something that's ended, if it's a job that you no longer do, the verbs are in past tense. With the imaginary I there, I supervised 2 toddlers. I cooked, cleaned, and planned activities for children. Now, you can't spell anything wrong on a resume. Everything that is supposed to be capitalized needs to be capitalized. and all your punctuation needs to be correct. So this is a pretty picky little document, but it makes the first impression on someone when you send it along with an application or anything else that you use it for. So you want to get the information down and then go back and proofread all the little pieces. You need to be consistent. So if you use month and date this way here, you use month and date that way all the way through. Okay? If you want to use the word September there and the whole year, you can do that, but you need to also do it here. Okay? And here. Now, I abbreviated up here and not down here, so I'm going to go back up here and type out the whole month. Okay, whatever makes most sense to you is fine. When you do sports, you're going to see in the template the abbreviation AWS. That means associated with school or non-school program. So I put the level in sport here, whether it was school or Town of Peru or Town of Plattsburgh or Little League Baseball, whatever it is, goes there, and then the dates. Again, you don't have to put all this information here. These are just suggestions. If there's something you don't need, you can get rid of it and also get rid of the bullets by highlighting the boxes, going to the Home tab, and unchecking this bullets box. Okay, like that. Same thing with drama, associated with school or non-school, music, any clubs. You'll see here, let me show you multiple pages, a space appeared. Don't worry about that until you're all done. We got rid of something, and so it moved the spaces. When you're all done, I'll show you how to move the pages back together. What else do I need to tell you here? At the end, you might have something that's a community service, like maybe you went to Nicaragua with Mission of Hope, or you do the Peru Community Church trips. That's a volunteer organization. But maybe you were in charge of the group, and that's also leadership experience. You get to decide whether you put it in one place or in both places. Same thing with the unique section, research experience, special academic programs, anything at all that you think is special that not everybody does. Awards and honors can be anything from a varsity letter to a high honor roll. Okay, any kind of essay contest you might have won, any scholarships you've won so far. And then additional experiences could be anything from travel to Boy Scouts to skateboarding competitions you've been in, anything at all. Okay, the idea of this document is that it is a picture of you, a full picture. So somebody sees all aspects of the skills that you have and the interactions that you have within your community. So you want to start the list of anything that you might have done, and you can slowly start to work on this document. We're going to save this document into the OneDrive, though, so make sure you follow the directions for that.